Hey guys, Zainab here, your chief driver at Nitro League. Super excited today. We've got none other than Basma Anwar joining us. She's our game producer for Nitro League Arcade. We're going to talk to her about her background, who she is, what she's doing, what she likes to eat, what cartoons she likes to watch, and obviously Nitro League Arcade, which is coming out November 15th. So without further ado, Basma, thanks for joining us today.
Hello.
How are you doing? Thank you.
I'm good.
Good, cool. So, Basma, before we go and talk about Nitro League Arcade and games and your background, well, tell us a little bit about you. Tell us about what you've been doing in this space and how you got into Nitro League Arcade.
Yeah, so it's been around, I've been a gamer from the start. I used to play a lot of games, even though, like, you know, I have done electrical engineering with computer sciences, but still I got pretty much involved in gaming. And then after I did my bachelor's, I was like, you know what, let's just, I tried out for a few gaming studios where I'm based. And then I got into frag games, and then basically the best part for me was, you know, just seeing how the game development and how the life cycle works, not just from, you could say, the engineering perspective, actually creating a whole experience for people. Nice. Because I really love games myself, and the thing about games that attracts me is the experience that they give to you and the story that they leave.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And I love it. So I always tell everybody that we are gamers, and everybody who comes into the Nitro League space is a gamer. So you are the proof in the pudding, you know. Guys, listen, I'm telling you, we're all gamers. We all love the game. What did you play, Basma? So what are your favorite games?
Right now, honestly, I'm really waiting for God of War Ragnarok.
That's my favorite. Sorry, that was a little too loud. Yeah. I love it, yeah.
So other than that, the recent game that I've just been playing is Cult of the Lamb. I recently just finished it, and now I've just started with Death's Door. Okay. It's a very cool game. It's basically an isometric view 3D style game. And you're basically a reaper, and you have a couple of missions. You have to reap souls, and then you gotta bring them back.
Oh, awesome. So not too far off with some of the game mechanics and what we're designing for the game, right? For Nitro League in some way.
Yeah, I've played a lot of racing games as well. Like I started with Need for Speed, and a lot of the parts of Need for Speed I've also, you know, just downloaded yesterday NFS Heat.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I think most of the team are playing NFS Heat.
Yeah, they're playing NFS Heat, and they're playing Asphalt a lot as well.
Yeah, Irfan has been lauding NFS Heat and telling us that we have to play that from the get-go, actually, from the beginning. Because I play it on my PlayStation, but I haven't played it on the mobile app. Don't tell him yet. Don't tell him yet. But yeah, absolutely. And Grand Theft Auto. So all of these car games. So would you say that you're more into the car racing games, or are you into the explorative? Because for me, God of War is not just about the battles and beating the bosses, because it's just a beautiful, beautiful game. You know, you want to explore as much as you want to go through and kick some gods' butts, you know? Yeah. Absolutely. So, yeah.
So for me, usually it's like the storyline. For example, the major game that I think is above all in this, it's the God of War series and Last of Us, the first part. Mm-hmm. I really love the narrative building in it. That I really like narrative-based games and a story or lore that connects. Just like Nitro has a very rich lore at the moment, but obviously we'll be unfolding it as we go and as we release more and more and unveil more and more products of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got another video that we're going to have released on the lore. Right. So then, Basma, so that's your background. That's what you've been doing these last few years, and your love of the gaming. So how did you get into Nitro Arcade?
Well, basically, when I was brought in, when I came to Nitro, we were originally making the 3D game, but obviously we had to get something out in the market, a basic, you could say, a basic experience that is that could be accelerated and then connected to the 3D game that we're making. So that's how basically the Nitro arcade came there. And it was supposed to be, you could say, a bite-sized mini experience of what is yet to come in the 3D skill-based racing and then the 3D simulation that's going to go out.
Yeah, but as many as we projected it to be, we wanted more because we wanted more. It's not just for the audience; it's for us because again, it's the love of the game. But all of us were absolutely keen on making it beautiful, and that was part of what you had done, Basma. You and the team had come together and brought in a lot of the elements from the 3D race that we're building. That's coming out in Q1 to blend it in with the arcade. So now it's looking pretty good. I gotta say, it's looking pretty good. I'm loving it. I'm loving it right now. So we were talking about, you touched on the roadmap and what we had done with the roadmap. Tell me about some of the challenges that you had gone through while we were working on the Nitro arcade.
So I think the major thing was just getting all of that big skill-based experience, you could say, a bite-sized so that it would be available to every user. And just getting all of that skill-based into one arcade that could, then the users could casually play. Because we were targeting users that were not, you could say, that were not hardcore gamers, that were just casual gamers, or just new people to the gaming, you could say, to the gaming environment. So we could give a crisp experience to those people as well. And for that, I think we went back and forth. We actually showed the initial builds and the initial concepts to a lot of people who weren't very keen gamers. So that was one of the major challenges, getting feedback and consolidating it and then, further enhancing it.
It's good regardless. So we did I remember back in March, we did the release of the garage, and then we did, and that was a beta testing of the garage with with certain testers and got their feedback, which was awesome. So a lot of the feedback would have been like, it was a little too dark for navigating. They were trying to enter little hiccups, but again, it's the user experience and the journey that's important. So we look at it as gamers, but we also want to onboard a lot of people that may not be so familiar with the gaming space, but are keen to join. And we want to welcome them and make it easy. So there's absolutely a user flow that needs to be considered there. I couldn't agree more. And it's a really great taste tester. It's a great taste tester for everyone who wants to join the multiplayer game to be able to engage in the arcade. Because I think I'm pretty sure most of the mechanics and the process is going to be the same. We're not changing too much of it, except for the multiplayer. We'll have some additional tournaments that are going to take place. Am I right?
Yes. Yes, some additional tournaments, and also like in the arcade, it still is kind of multiplayer because different people come in and register for a race. And then what happens in the arcade is then it's basically a motorsport management game right now. So what happens is you basically have your cars, your car parts, your drivers, driver components, and the power cards that you actually have in the game. So essentially you pick and choose between them according to how you could see the track is and what weather it is. And on that, based on you could say how keenly you select those, you can obviously make your way up to the leaderboard. And once that race gets, simulated from our end, you can actually view it as well.
Excellent. Yeah, no, absolutely. But when you're looking at the multiplayer, what we have coming for the multiplayer is a lot more detail in the 3D experience and a lot more of an immersiveness in that respect. So that is, again, referring back to like God of War, you are going to be interacting a whole lot more in the multiplayer race, and you'll be able to control your maneuvers and how you're racing. So that's a big thing there.
It's going to be a very crisp 3D environment, and you can see and control your own car and you can race against other players, be it 12 or 16 of you are going to be, cars are going to be in a match, and you're just going to be glued on your phone and you're going to be racing. That's basically, yeah.
Can't wait. See, we're going to start with the multiplayer racing, and then in our future iterations, we're going to start with the clans and tribes, which is part of the lore already from the original concept. So
first starting, we'll give basically the skill-based experience for one player. They can even race against the clock. And we can have a mission system in there as well. And then we'll introduce the whole multiplayer aspect, which players can race against each other. They can, again, race against other players and much more.
Awesome. Awesome. So let me ask you, Miss Game Producer, what are your thoughts on the free-to-play? Like, if I were not competing with a lot of other people, or if I didn't have the NFT assets like some other people had in the game, had their own cars and accessories, etc. What is the big differentiator there for? I mean, obviously their earning won't be the same, but what would be the experience for a free-to-play player, and why did you design it that way?
So I think a free-to-play player, we're actually trying to give the concept of play to own, because this asset, whether you're a collector or you want to use it in the game, it's something that you own. Just like, you know, it's something that's gonna benefit you for the sake of your aesthetics in your NFT account, or it's gonna be in the game and you can win races with it, you can win rewards with it. When you're actually a free player, the first thing you get is a free car, a free driver, and some fuel to go into races and participate in events. And essentially, for a free-to-play person, what happens is you either have to grind in the game and earn blueprints from which you can then mint your own NFT. But obviously, if you're buying a car or a driver or components, that grinding is gonna, you know, you're just gonna skip through the grinding.
Right.
That's what it's going to do.
Right.
But the chances of you winning obviously increase if you have more components attached to your car, and you know the stats your cars or your driver stats will increase, which will obviously, the probability of you winning is greater. Although we did have quite a lot of, you know, events like free minting and all that published on the website. So I think people will be able to even get their own assets at quite a lesser price if they can.
Awesome. So, I mean, again, we're not putting cars out in the market now. It'll be provided during promotions or in the secondary market if someone wants to resell their car. So the fact that someone who is coming in as a free-to-play player can actually unlock their loot box in their garage, because they still get a garage regardless.
Yes, exactly.
Free, no rent, guys. You don't have to pay rent for a garage. You can have it, you can hang out in there. But you get your own garage and you get your loot box and you get to unlock it. And like you said, blueprints. And I mean, a lot of this terminology is going through, you know, until people start playing. But we've got some videos.
Blueprints, you can consider it's just like a recipe or a building block. What you have to do, essentially, you can collect blueprints from your loot box, your daily rewards, or as rewards from races and events. What that's going to do is, when you have enough of those blueprints, we have this feature coming up. What happens is, when you collect enough of those blueprints, you can go to our claims portal and you can mint that asset. So that means you just get an NFT if you grind enough.
Did you hear that, guys? You get a free NFT if you collect all of the blueprints and you build them up, and then you can go and mint them. You heard it from our game producer. You heard it from Basma, not just from me. I'm not talking baloney. It's true. Go on. Sorry.
Yeah. So that's basically it. It's just that if you're a free player, obviously you're going to have to work for it.
Yeah.
Because then what's the distinction between someone who's paying for a car and for some, because there should be a bit of grinding, no?
Absolutely, Basma, but that's the whole point. We're racing, right? So I got to grind to go and kick someone else's butt on the racetrack so I can earn some more. Absolutely. So there's grinding to be able to earn those blueprints and the unlock multiple rewards. But then at the same time, the more that I put in, I can unlock reward multipliers as well. So lots of benefits and perks. But what you said in the beginning is the beautiful part, and something that I'm proud of, you know, as part of the team that's building all of this, is that it's play to own. You get the potential to play with no cost to you, and then you have the potential to be able to own an NFT in the future, resell it in the marketplace. You'll be earning through that NFT, etc. Yes. It's pretty badass if you ask me. You know what I mean? Yes. Especially as we're coming into this concept. A lot of people moving, a lot of games that started with their initial play to earn are finding different ways for people to play without it burdening them on costs, etc. And I think as a team, we've come up with something pretty good there that's going to benefit everybody. So it's a play to win, play to own, win to own, all of that, all combined. We've got to come up with a word for all those things, Basma. Yeah. Let's talk later. It's too many of those. Let's come up with a good word for it, and then we can just trademark it and start putting it out in the market. So that'll be good. All right, so tell me now, we talked about challenges, talked about you. Tell me what you love about the game. What do you what do you love about the game? And then tell me what you love and see what's the potential you see out there for Nitro Arcade in the near future.
So I honestly think it's a great game, especially when you start getting into the lore part as well. For, you could say, the purely game mechanics and everything side, I think the racing is going to be terrific, especially when we launch it in 3D. Even like I've currently seen glimpses of the same arcade in 3D as well. It's looking great. It's looking great. And once we actually shift from the arcade to the skill-based racing, it's gonna be even, you know, edge of your seat, just glued on your phone kind of stuff, because you will have a greater degree of control, and then you can just navigate, you can win races and get more rewards. It'll be more engaging for the user.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you're excited about the game coming out, yeah? Is that what I'm getting? I think you're a little excited about the game. Okay, cool. Got it. All right. So Basma, I'll wrap it up here. But before I close it off, give me 3 things really quickly. Favorite cartoon, favorite junk food, favorite movie.
Okay, so favorite cartoon, I think... I'm not sure though. It's pretty old school. The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy.
Yeah, yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So, and favorite junk food, I think it's gonna have to be pizza.
Oh yeah. No, that's good.
Cheese pizza, nothing more, nothing less, just cheese pizza.
Keep it classic. Absolutely. Yes. I'm from New York. We love our pizza. Absolutely. Yeah. Favorite movie?
Favorite movie, I think if I had to come up with one on the top of my head, it would be Silence of the Lambs.
Ooh, heavy girl. Yeah. Heavy girl. We were touching on Raven. We were talking about Raven earlier. A little bit of Raven and a little bit of unicorns as well. Awesome. Thanks so much for joining us, Basma. Really proud to have you as a part of the team. Most especially as us chicks in this environment, working with gaming and boys and development. It's pretty awesome. Love having you on board, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, guys. Thanks for joining us today. Stay tuned for a lot more of our videos. We'll be talking about FAQs and how to play around in the game. You'll be meeting a lot more people from the game. You've got to learn about the lore, because that's the most badass thing other than the game, about Nitro League and Nitro Arcade. So stay tuned, and thanks for joining. Talk to you soon. See you on the tracks.